This weekend, we remember and honor military members who gave their lives for our country. Memorial Day also provides opportunities for survivors to share stories of bravery and sacrifice and pass lessons they've learned to future generations. It's part of the mission of a leading veterans advocate who was found as a baby in her dead mother's arms in Vietnam, adopted, and then raised in Wisconsin. In our Sunday morning spotlight, we highlight a remarkable journey that defined Kim Mitchell's life purpose.
Freedom isn't free, and it takes people willing to stand up to serve for a cause greater than oneself. Memorial Day is a time when we can come together as a country and remember the service and the sacrifice of all those who lost and gave their lives for the freedoms that we have.
While Kim Mitchell honors all American military who made the ultimate sacrifice, she has a personal connection to fallen service members from the Vietnam era, their Gold Star families, and veterans.
Every time I meet a Vietnam veteran, I thank them for their service because they are my personal heroes. They are my why, and I know that.
Mitchell's journey of self-discovery is rooted in Vietnam, where she was born in 1972 during the fall of Quang Tri to North Vietnamese forces.
When the North Vietnamese were transitioning into Quang Tri, my mother had been killed by the North Vietnamese, and I was lying along the side of the road trying to nurse on her dead body.
A tragic and heartbreaking scene that did not go unnoticed. The infant, with no family and no name, was picked up and taken to the Sacred Heart Orphanage in Da Nang by a South Vietnamese Marine.
During the time of war, why on earth would he take time out, leave his company to save a child that he didn't know? He didn't have to do it, but he did. And they said, well, you brought her here. You give her a name. And he said, well, I'm going to give her the first name that I was going to name my first daughter. And that was Tran Thi Ngoc Bic, for Precious Pearl.
A precious pearl that caught the eye of a U.S. airman. Technical Sergeant James Mitchell adopted Tran Thi Ngoc Bic, changed her name to Kimberly Mitchell, and after retirement, moved the family to his wife Lucy's hometown of Solon Springs, a tiny village of 600 people in northwestern Wisconsin.
Growing up in Solon Springs, everybody knows everyone.
In fact, they knew a cattle farmer just down the road in Minong who was starting to build what has become a beef jerky empire.
Hey, I can make a better jerky than that.
Yes, it was Jack Link who sold the Mitchells a steer that Kim raised as a member of the Douglas County 4-H.
I named him Dos Colores, and in the summer of 1988 at the Douglas County Fair, I won Grand Champion.
The first of many honors Kim would receive over the next 3 decades. The U.S. Naval Academy graduate served in the Navy for 17 years, first as a surface warfare officer before assisting the President and First Lady as a military social aide, and then the Joint Chiefs in the Office of Warrior and Family Support.
As Woody Williams always says, the cause is greater than I. And there's no one more in tune with that sacrifice than Woody as the last living Medal of Honor recipient from the Battle of Iwo Jima.
Like Williams, Kim's post-military career is dedicated to helping veterans. She is CEO of Veterans Village of San Diego, a program recognized nationally as a leader in serving homeless veterans.
Sometimes for a homeless veteran, after they've lost everything and hit rock bottom, they need to know the community cares, that somebody out there cares, that they're not just an object sitting along the street, that they're a person, that they have a story, that they have a background, that they had aspirations.
Mitchell's life story, while remarkable, was still incomplete. That is, until 2012, when she received a flurry of emails and phone calls, messages she initially dismissed.
In fact, I deleted the first 5 emails and the first 7 phone calls that came in because I said, this has to be a scam. Because it was a brief message. I know how you got to the orphanage in Vietnam, call me. Come on.
When the 8th call came, Mitchell answered, listened, and was convinced. Months later, on March 29, 2013, the 40th anniversary marking the end of the Vietnam War, Bao Tran was reunited with the precious pearl he rescued decades earlier.
I'm glad that happened on that day. I didn't choose it because of that. It just happened, but I think there was a reason why that was the day that we decided to meet.
And in September of 1972, I was brought to the United States to start my new life.
Kim recently shared her story at 2 events held during Milwaukee Armed Forces Week. She talked about staying in touch with Bao Tran and his family.
The family feels and treats me as one of their daughters.
And meeting with nuns at the orphanage, where she discovered that before handing over the birth registers to the North Vietnamese in 1975, a nun copied by hand and saved all of the names, birth dates, and departure dates of more than 1,600 children.
We started looking through the books, and midway through the 3rd book, we found baby number 899, Tran Tinok Bik. And it was almost a watershed moment to be able to see my name in that book.
And still a familiar name in Solon Springs, where Kim was the featured speaker last year at an education fundraiser.
They welcomed me like I hadn't been gone at all.
The kind of welcome Mitchell extends to active duty service members.
I love telling them that they are well respected, and when they come back, they're going to be leaders in their community.
And veterans, especially those who served in Vietnam on Memorial Day and year-round.
Their service gave me the chance to serve and now give back to my generation of veterans and those that follow me.
One act of kindness on the battlefield set off a chain reaction of love and support that allowed an orphaned infant to discover her life's purpose and, in return, help others find their why.
In the mornings, I can get up and be happy with what I'm doing, and it's to give back. It's to give back to not only those who were there for me, but now who serve and are coming home. And it's full circle. We all have a full circle, and that's my full circle.